Please welcome Arzu.
Wow, she took my whole bio from me. I was going to say some of that, it's all gone. My name is Arzu. I go by Zoo. Zoo is pretty much just a shortened version of my last name, and also kind of a little bit of who I am. I'm just a zoo of artistic talents in one. I do pretty much everything from visual arts to tattooing. That's pretty much what I'm known for now. Is tattooing is my main thing in Houston. Everybody always looks at me and like, where are your tattoos? And I'm like, I don't have any, but I am a tattoo artist. This is Architect Walks Path to Become an Artist. Like Irma said, I went to school to be an architect, and I thought I was going to become an architect. My plan was I thought I was going to be doing buildings all over Houston and all over, the world. But in the back, I've always, had a passion for art. But there's always been that, stigma with starving artists that I've always didn't want to be around or didn't want to be associated with. So I really even never said I was an artist. I just kind of did art on the side and I would tuck it under the bed. But over time, more and more people got to see my work, and more people were excited about my work. And it's crazy how I graduated in 2009 from architecture school, and it was a rough time to graduate from college. And the students that I graduated with, there were over 100 people, and it was very few of us that had jobs, and I was one of the fortunate ones to be working at a firm. So everybody was always telling me, oh, just stay, you need to stay. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. And so I was working in a firm for about 4 years, and I kind of decided I can't take this anymore. I can't sit and just tickle my keyboard all day. And what I decided to do, it was actually crazy. This guy, Matt Gibson, he's an attorney and also a columnist for the Houston Chronicle. And I was standing in the elevator, and he looks at me and said, "How's work going?" And I look at him. This is the first time I've ever interacted with him. And I said, "Today is my last day. I'm quitting." And then he was just like, "Oh, so what are you gonna do?" And I said, "Well, I'm gonna just try to make it as an artist." And he kind of looked at me and was just like, "Oh, okay." Well, swapped contact information. But before that, it was the day before, I was working with one of my coworkers, a very, very talented architect, and I asked him, I was like, "Hey, I know this is real confidential, but how much do you make?" And then he goes, well, he told me how much he made, and I was just like, I kind of figured out the calculations and what I was making at the time, and I was like, there's absolutely no way I could see myself just bumping up to that, in a short amount of time, because I was making a pretty low amount. So at that time, I was thinking that I can do. Nothing can be worse than this. Nothing can be worse than this pay. And I'm just going to kind of show my work as I talk. Nothing can be, really worse than this. So I pretty much retracted everything in my life. I moved to a very sketchy part of Houston, and I did struggle quite a bit. And I got a little part-time job at a tattoo shop. But this was actually while I was working as an architect, and I really didn't know what direction I was going to go in. I've always done murals, I've always done art, and I've always done everything in the art fields, and I kind of just felt like just do what makes myself happy, and that's pretty much what I did. I just pretty much did my work, put art out there, and just really would see what would happen. And in less than, I want to say, a year, my work in tattooing has blown up. And what I really like to do, as far as tattooing goes, is what people will typically tell me a story of what they want or what they envision. And I feel like my talent, my gift is to transform that into whatever it is that they feel visually. And the experiences that I have doing different forms of art has helped me move into tattooing a little bit easier in a way, to understand what a client wants with murals or graphic design. And it's kind of a similar thing with tattooing. These people are going to be wearing these tattoos on their bodies forever, and then building, it was a way of building the understanding of art and the work. A lot of the ways that I create, this one is Jam. It's actually his initials, and he just had a son, so it was kind of commemorate that. People get tattoos for all kinds of different reasons, is what I've noticed. It goes from, I just want something on my body, to this commemorating a family member. A lot of people, and that's a thing with the culture nowadays, is everybody gets tattooed. A lot of my clients go from anywhere from athletes to doctors to lawyers. It doesn't really matter. And it's crazy that people say, oh, I'm getting this tattoo or I'm getting this sleeve, but I got to hide it from work. But then I got your boss coming in and saying, hey, I got this tattoo and I got to hide it from work. So it's kind of like everybody's kind of hiding tattoos from each other. So it's kind of, it's a funny thing to me. I think it's something that's well accepted, and to me, it's art. It's art just like anything else. And what I love about Houston is that it's a city where you can literally create your atmosphere as an artist, and I think that's the beauty of anybody who really is an artist, is to be able to take control of your talent and your skill and to create. And I've been fortunate to be able to create whatever I want. And what I love about my clients is a lot of them will come to me and just say, just do whatever. And at first that was really like, how can you just tell me to do whatever on your body? But then I started realizing that there's a lot of people that really trust my work. And what I do is what I've noticed is people, when it comes to art and they're not a visual artist, you have actually a little bit more creative freedom to give them what they really need and want, and become a part of them. So a lot of what I do is I talk to my clients and I grill them on what they want and what they need, what they're looking for, and then kind of go from there. This client right here is actually kind of how I got my break in the industry. I tattooed him. He's an Instagram comedian. His name is King Kiran. And I did a logo for him, and then we went out to Kona Grill to have some lunch. And we were talking about tattoos, and he said, "Oh, you do tattoos?" He's actually covered. His back is empty, but his whole entire front is covered in tattoos. And then I didn't know who he really was at the time. I was just doing a logo for a client. And then he comes in the next day, and I literally had like $200 in my bank account. I had saved a bunch of money to pursue art, and I was pretty much on the tail end of running out. What I wanted to do was, murals and different design work, and start my own design business. And on the side, I was working on tattoos. And so he said, "Hey, I'd like to get a tattoo from you." So I did a tattoo for him, and then shortly after that, I thought something was wrong, or after I tattooed him, I thought something was wrong. My Instagram started going crazy, and I was like, what's going on? I think I have some sort of virus on my Instagram. And then within seconds, within minutes, I had thousands and thousands of followers. And from that point on, I've been completely booked out. It's been about a year and a half, and I've probably tattooed I probably had seven or so days off, and in that year and a half, and it's been a blessing, and it's been great. And the more I get to work, the more people I get to meet, and it's surreal being here right now, because I never would have thought like tattooing would get me anywhere really. It was just kind of a hobby to make an extra penny, and then it turned it out to be a demand, a need for people, and that's the thing with art, and not to be starving, is to figure out at times, what is the demand, and where does it come as an artist, and tattooing was one thing that kind of, I guess you would say, saved me. I had a friend at the old shop that I used to work at. He used to be involved in all kinds of things at a very early age, and he pretty much, in a way, made all of his possibilities very limited only at the age of 21, because of a lot of the things that he has done in his lifetime. And he told me that, hey, tattooing saved me. And I was like, well, why do you say that? He's like, well, because I can't get a job anywhere else. He has tattoos on his face and, his hands and everywhere. And he said, I can't get a job anywhere. So tattooing has, and this guy, he would come in, and I felt like his life was just in a lot of turmoil. And he came in, or we were talking, and he said that tattooing had saved his life. And then I kind of realized, much later on, that it saved mine as well. He was able to stay out of trouble and actually have a job doing what he loved artistically, and moving away from a lot of the things that he was being involved in prior to tattooing. That piece is actually a cover-up. And my style ranges pretty much from everything. I do simple tattoos, I do traditional, I do realism, I do everything but tribal, simply because I don't know what tribe that tribes are from. So so I don't do tribal tattoos, and I'm really quick to say I'm not gonna do a tribal tattoo. This is an example of a cover-up. And this is actually one of the clients that came by, and she was like, I've got 3 stars that my ex-girlfriend did on me, and I want them gone. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do? And she had scheduled an appointment. Her appointment was a month in advance, and she's sitting there, and she's like, I don't know what I want. And I was like, oh, I don't know what you want either. And then she was like, well, just do anything. And I was like, how can I just do anything? So I thought of a little bit of a story that was in the back of my mind to help me. That in times when I do art, I do a lot of art on the side. I doodle, so I'll come up and create little stories. And I came up with this one, and then I told her the story. She was telling me about her sexual orientation, and then we just kind of played on the bird and the freedom, and then the arrow being curved, and it just went on from there and created a little story. And then this guy in particular, he had a struggle. He wasn't a religious person, and his grandfather died, and one of his best friends had died, and he wrote a poem, and the poem is written on this sculpture. And he also came to me not having an idea of what he wanted to do. So he told me that he wanted to represent something in life and then something with death. And then his idea of life, he did come up with the phoenix, and then death, he wanted a grim reaper. And I was talking to him, and I was like, man, I don't really see you, like, you're speaking to me. I don't really see you as a person with a grim reaper on your back. So he was just like, well, I don't know what else can represent death. And I was just like, well, why don't we think about, what do you think about a raven. A raven. So I did this sketch, and then I did this sketch of a raven kind of protecting the poem, and kind of battling the phoenix, protecting the poem and battling the raven. And that's what we came up for the piece on his back. This was actually his first tattoo. And then since then, I've been tattooing quite a bit of his family members, including his dad comes to me at least once a month. And this is this is like a Japanese inspired tattoo. that I created. This particular client, he said that he wanted something Japanese, but not too traditional Japanese style, and been working on him for quite some time. But I chose to specifically hone in on tattooing because it is an industry that is different and is really evolving. And even when I started tattooing, I've never really seen what a good tattoo looks like. So I've realized over time that a lot of people don't necessarily know what a real or a good tattoo is, so they don't get tattoos. And my goal with art is always to change the perception of what people think about it. Sometimes, whether it's a painting or a mural or something that I've done, there's something a little bit deeper I want you to look at. And with tattooing, it's just that person is something different that you want to look at. And with my art, I kind of do a similar thing. I want people to be able to just think about it differently. Sometimes, if you go to my website, alexarzu.com, you'll see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. I usually take a soft element with a hard element and then kind of play with it and start there. These are a portrait of Jesus, and this one right here was also a custom piece. And a lot of the custom pieces like this is just somebody telling me what they want, and a lot of times I'll sketch it right on them. If it's something really realistic, like the image on the right, then I'll just do a carbon transfer of it. This is also a piece that I did on the side. This guy right here was a guy I used to work with, a tattoo artist as well. And that's when I tattooed Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins, I painted a mural at his house when he was playing with the Celtics and won the championship ring. And he had no idea that I was the one painting his house because I was hired by an interior designer. And then later on, he hears about me as a tattoo artist, but doesn't put the two together. So I get called to visit his home and bring my tattoo equipment there. And then I go there, and we're having the conversation. I was like, I actually did your son's room. And he was like, really? You did my son's room? And then you're here doing the tattoo. So a lot of things in Houston have come full circle for me. And this is Brittany Griner. She was the first female to dunk in college. And this is actually a cover-up. There's some Jesus praying hands under there. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it a little bit, but what I did is manipulate the design to where you can't really see the tattoo that's showing up under. This guy is a overseas basketball player. And just a really quick clip of just me working. So yeah, that's me.
Please give Zoo a big round.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.